Take a breath, not a shallow one, a real one. Feel it fill your lungs. Now hold it for a second. Listen. What you are about to experience is not a comfort blanket. It is an alarm clock. If you have ever felt that you are running, always running, chasing a horizon that keeps moving away, if you are tired, if you are waiting for one more win, one more achievement to finally make things right, this is for you. You need to stay until the end. A single thought here, a single frame change, can dismantle the reality you've been sold. It can change how you see your own mind, your desires, your pain. This is not a lecture. It is an experiment, and you are the subject. Let's begin. Look at your hands, just for a moment. See the lines, the texture. These hands have worked. They have built things. Maybe a career, a family, a home. You laid one brick on top of another day after day. You believe in the structure. It feels solid. It feels real. You are wrong. It will all collapse. Every wall, every trophy, every carefully constructed piece of your identity will turn to dust. Time does not negotiate. It does not see your effort. It does not care about your belief. It simply erodes. This isn't a dark fantasy. It's a physical law. And you feel this late at night when the house is quiet. That faint tremor of impermanence. This is not about scaring you. This is about establishing the baseline. We have to start with the truth if we want to get anywhere useful. We have to distinguish between the essential and the noise. The essential is this. Everything you build is temporary. The noise is everything that tells you otherwise. Understanding this distinction is the first step toward a different kind of freedom. But what does that freedom look like? Now think of a face you love. Picture it clearly. The way their eyes catch the light, the sound of their laugh. That face is a quiet island in the chaos of your own mind. It is a refuge. That, too, will disappear. Some will be taken by the simple, brutal mechanics of biology. Others will fade through 1,000 tiny goodbyes, a slow, silent, drifting apart that life engineers without your consent. It has already happened, hasn't it? A friend from the past, now just a name in your phone. The connection is a ghost. The memory has more weight than the reality. We tell ourselves it's just life. But what if it's a fundamental rule we refuse to read? Every moment of pure, undiluted joy you have ever felt comes with a shadow attached, a price tag. The contract stipulates that for every peak, there must be a valley of equal or greater depth. You sign this contract at birth, without legal counsel. And when your time is up, when you look back over the path you walked, the most crushing realization won't be the pain you endured. It won't be the failures. It will be the discovery of what you wasted. You wasted your life desiring what you didn't have while suffocating under the weight of what you did. You burned years, decades, chasing ghosts, chasing a satisfaction that lasts no longer than a single breath before dissolving into thin air. This is not an opinion. It is an observation. And according to a philosopher named Schopenhauer, this is the core of the human operating system. Not the edited version you see in movies designed to sell you hope in a box. Not the empty promises of self-help gurus who offer transformation for a monthly fee. Not the comforting bedtime story that the universe has a special secret plan just for you. Schopenhauer offers something else entirely. A blueprint. A cold, precise, unflinching look at the machine itself. And before you label this as pessimism and turn away, understand the critical point. He didn't write this to break you. He wrote it to wake you. Because from his perspective, the vast majority of us are sleepwalking. We are living inside a dream, a set of illusions about the nature of reality. And these illusions don't protect you. They are the bars of your cage. They lock you into cycles of frustration, anxiety, and pain that are entirely unnecessary. What follows is that philosophy, unfiltered, no sugarcoating, no adjustments for the modern palate that prefers its truth, served with a side of validation. If you have the courage to look directly at it, this knowledge can do something no life coach or wellness app ever could. It can set you free from the prison you didn't even know you were in. But freedom, real freedom, is not comfortable. It is a razor's edge. Let's examine the first mechanism. You are a desire factory. This is not a part-time job. It is not something you do when you are feeling ambitious. It is a constant 24/7 production line. It is so relentless, so automatic, that you've stopped noticing it. Like the hum of a refrigerator, like your own heartbeat. From the second you wake up to the moment you fall asleep, your mind generates a constant stream of I want. I want food. I want comfort. I want validation. I want to be left alone. I want distraction from this boredom. Boredom, which Schopenhauer saw as a moment of terrifying clarity, a brief glimpse into the void. Here's the central problem. To desire is, by its very definition, to be in a state of lack. You only want what you do not have. This seems obvious, but the consequences are devastating. The moment you get the thing you want, the job, the car, the partner, the recognition, the desire vanishes. And with it, the energy, the focus, the sense of purpose that organized your life. What's left? A fleeting sense of relief you mistake for happiness. It is followed almost immediately by an emptiness, a void. You know this feeling, and into that void your mind immediately projects a new desire. The cycle restarts, always, without exception. This is not a flaw in your character. It is not a sign of ingratitude. It is the architecture of your consciousness. Be honest with yourself. Think of the things you have wanted with an intensity that burned. The things you were certain would finally complete you. The promotion, the relationship, the number in your bank account. How many did you get? Only to find that the feeling of enough lasted a week, a day, an hour, before you return to your factory settings. The familiar restlessness. The search for the next thing. Schopenhauer called this engine the will. Not your will, the will, a blind, impersonal, cosmic force that surges through everything that exists. It manifests in you as this perpetual hunger for more. You did not choose it. It did not ask for your permission. It possesses you. You are simply its vehicle, its expression in this tiny slice of time and space. Always pushing, always seeking, never ever at peace. And our modern world has weaponized this. It has turned your factory into a planetary scale operation. You are no longer just dealing with natural biological urges. You are submerged in a sea of engineered desire. Advertising exists for one reason: to make you feel inadequate, to make you believe you are lacking. Every image, every slogan is surgically designed to poke at that fundamental wound, the feeling that something is missing. Social media is the amplification of this mechanism. To a degree Schopenhauer could never have imagined. You are not just seeing products, you are seeing edited lives, curated moments of victory, rehearsed smiles, and so you want not just things but states of being. You want to be the person who seems to have solved the puzzle that still torments you. You are on a treadmill that is constantly accelerating. Every time you think you've reached the goal, a new one appears on the horizon. The finish line is part of the scenery. It was never a real destination. This isn't a game you can win. It's a machine designed to run forever. So the first strategy is not to run faster. The strategy is to understand the machine, to see the treadmill, and to consider the radical act of stepping off. What happens then? And this leads to the second truth. It is even harder to swallow. Suffering is not a bug. It is a feature. You have been trained to believe that happiness is the default state, that life is supposed to be good, and that pain, sadness, and failure are temporary malfunctions. Problems to be solved. Schopenhauer flips the script. Pain is the baseline. Happiness, when it occurs, is nothing more than a brief, temporary pause in the suffering. Think about it. Hunger is a form of suffering. You eat. You feel relief, which you call pleasure. But that pleasure is just the absence of the pain of hunger. It is not a positive thing in itself, and soon thirst arrives, or physical pain, or boredom, or anxiety. There is always another wave waiting. The deepest sufferings are not optional. They are not the result of bad choices. They are built into the system. You will be rejected. You will lose people you love. You will fail at things that matter to you. You will get sick. You will grow old. You will watch your own body betray you. You will witness the suffering of others, helpless to stop it. These are not system errors. They are core functions. When you finally see this, when you accept that the game is not and never was about achieving a state of constant happiness, something inside you shifts. Most people, when they glimpse this truth, run. They run into distraction, into workaholism, into consumerism, into drama, anything to avoid the silence, anything to avoid confronting the raw, unfiltered nature of their own existence. But this escape only makes it worse. You waste all your energy maintaining illusions. And when they inevitably shatter, and they always do, the impact is devastating. You are unprepared. The first step to real resilience is not positive thinking. It is the unflinching acceptance of this reality. It is a form of training. Instead of building a wall to keep out the storm, you learn to become the storm. How does one do that? Let's look at the third truth. You are not in the driver's seat. The idea that you are a free, rational agent choosing your path is the most sophisticated illusion of them all. Your genetics laid down the tracks. Your childhood environment programmed your responses. Your past experiences created scripts that you run on a loop, all while believing you are improvising. What you call a choice is often just a predictable reaction to invisible conditioning. The less you are aware of this, the more certain you are that you are in control. And governing it all is the will, pushing you toward outcomes that you later rationalize as your own. You think you chose your career? Look closer. Was it not a combination of family expectation, available opportunity, and a desire for status that was planted in you long before you knew what a career was? You think you chose your partner? Or was it a cocktail of evolutionary biology, unmet childhood needs, and simple proximity? The paradox is this. Recognizing this lack of freedom is the beginning of real freedom. When you stop believing you have total control, you can stop blaming yourself with such cruelty. That vicious inner critic that lives in your head feeds on the illusion of choice. It thrives on the belief that if you had just been smarter, stronger, or better, things would have been different. Seeing the puppet strings doesn't make you a puppet. It makes you the first person in the theater to notice the puppeteer. And from that position, you can start to do something different. You can start to not react. You can learn to observe the pull of the strings without obeying. This is a subtle power, but it is real. Fourth, a look at human connection. Relationships are not based on altruism. They are based on need. You love someone because they fulfill a need in you, emotional, physical, psychological. And they are with you for the same reason. This is not cynical. It is functional. When the needs align, the system works. We call it love. But needs change, people change, and when the alignment breaks, conflict begins. Or worse, the quiet resignation of two people living in a contract that has expired but has not been terminated. Even in the very best relationships, suffering is guaranteed. To love is to make yourself profoundly vulnerable. It is to attach your well-being to something you cannot control. Someone who can leave you or disappoint you or die. The more you love, the more you have to lose. And you will lose. All relationships end. If not by separation, then by death. Love contains the seed of its own loss from the very first moment. The lesson is not to avoid love. It is to enter into it without illusions, without the fantasy of a soulmate who will complete you, without the promise of a happily ever after that exists only in stories. Relationships are a temporary practical arrangement between two beings, each driven by the will, seeking to have their needs met. They can be beautiful. They can be a source of immense growth and joy. But they aren't a solution to the fundamental problem of existence. They are part of it. Finally, the fifth and heaviest truth. Life has no inherent meaning. You are here because of a chain of biological accidents, stretching back billions of years to a chemical reaction in a primordial soup. There is no cosmic plan, no divine architect, no grand purpose. There is only a blind, indifferent process of replication. And you, with your complex, self-aware brain, have the unique curse of being able to recognize this emptiness and to suffer from it. You desperately want your life to matter. You want to leave a mark. But on the scale of the cosmos, your existence is a flicker. You will be forgotten. The people who forget you will be forgotten. This is the void that all religions and ideologies are designed to fill. They are sophisticated stories we tell ourselves to shield our eyes from the abyss. Schopenhauer invites you to do the unthinkable, to look, to let the stories fall away and to stand in that silence, in that emptiness. What is the point then? Why go on? He offers no easy answer. He offers a strategy. First, deliberately prune your desires. Instead of running to satisfy every I want, question it. Is this desire mine or was it implanted in me? Do I truly need this or do I just need the relief from the wanting of it? The fewer desires you have, the fewer potential sources of suffering you cultivate. Second, find moments of aesthetic escape. For Schopenhauer, this was in art, music, and the contemplation of nature. Any activity that so completely absorbs your attention that your sense of self, that chattering, wanting ego, temporarily dissolves. These moments are not a cure. They are a temporary ceasefire, a brief silence from the will. And in that silence there is profound relief. Third, develop universal compassion. Not from a place of moral superiority, but from a lucid understanding of the shared predicament. Every person you meet, no matter how irritating or cruel, is trapped in the same machine, driven by the same blind will, suffering from the same cycle of desire and frustration. This understanding doesn't excuse their behavior, but it can dissolve your own reactive anger. It is a pragmatic tool for reducing self-inflicted pain. Fourth, practice radical acceptance of impermanence. Nothing is permanent. Not your success, not your relationship, not your health, not your pain. Stop clinging to things as if you could hold them forever. The more you cling to what is by its nature flowing, the more you suffer when it flows away. Letting go is not an act of defeat. It is an act of alignment with reality. There is a strange power in seeing the truth without anesthesia. When you stop demanding that life be something it is not, you stop suffering from the gap between your expectations and reality. You can't change reality, but you can change your expectations. Life is a game marked by desire, suffering, and a lack of ultimate meaning. You are not as free or important as you like to think. This is the truth. Accepting it will not make you happy in the way you've been taught to want. It will do something more honest. It will make you suffer less. And in this world, for a conscious being, the reduction of suffering is a far more realistic and perhaps more noble goal than the desperate pursuit of a happiness that was never on the table. This is not a message of despair. It is a message of wisdom, the wisdom to endure, and to find a quiet, resilient strength in the heart of the storm itself.